Patreon, every month you'll get amazing files that you can make, like this Donkey Kong, this dragon, this robot tech scarab, this Cerberus, or this super cool set of Bulbasaurs. You can also sell the prints from these files as an authorized seller. Join the Creature Crate Patreon now. Link is in the description below. Oh shit, I totally fucked up and forgot my background. Hang on. Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here. And in this 3D Printed Profits episode, I have Rhys coming to us all the way from Melbourne, Australia. And he's going to talk to us about his business, how he runs it, so on and so forth. As always, all his links are going to be in the description below if you're on YouTube. And if you're on your favorite podcast player, it's going to be in the show notes. Make sure you guys stay to the very, very end, where I'm going to give you your own tip today for your own 3D printing side business if you guys want to start one. And anyway, let's get started. Rhys, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, mate.
So, let's start with your background here, man. What do you do currently, and how'd you get into 3D printing?
So currently, I run my own business, 3D printing. I've gone into it full time. I've been doing that for the last year and a half. So
Okay, so you're already full time in your 3D printing business.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. So did it start as a side hustle?
It did. I started a bit over 5 years ago. Started up as a side hustle with one printer, and it grew to a full-time gig. Left my full-time job driving a bus 18 months ago and went into this full-time. So it's been fantastic.
Dude, that's awesome, man. So you said you were a bus driver.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it doesn't really sort of give you the full idea. I studied software engineering. Bus driving was always that safe job because, like yourself, I'm a father. I've got 5 kids as well, and it's been making sure you've got that income to support them has always been number one priority. Bus driving was a very safe job, and then this business, it just got too good to pass up.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. So you said you were a software engineer, and then you were a bus driver. And how did you get into 3D printing? How did that work?
Well, my passion's always been about cars. That's what I've always loved doing. I bought my first 3D printer, which was an old classic ANET A8, to make some of these parts for a classic car I was restoring that you just can't buy anymore. And it just snowballed from there.
That's awesome, man. So let's dive into the business now a little bit. What is it exactly that you sell for your business?
The big thing for me is I sell professional 3D print services to other businesses. That's where my bread and butter is.
Okay, so you sell the machines.
No, I sell print time to businesses. I'm the operator. I'm the professional help that they get. And so companies will come on, contract me to produce these prototypes and parts for them, and pay me to do what I love doing, which is printing.
Okay, so you're prototyping for companies, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And are you selling machines to them too, or did I hear that incorrectly?
Not at all, no. No, I just operate my own print farm, and I sell. They are basically paying for print time.
That's awesome, dude. That's so cool. And how much are you making a month profit in the business?
It varies from month to month. It's normally around the $5,000 mark.
Wow.
The last month was a big one, and that was $18,000.
Woo! That's good money. $18,000 in a month. Congratulations, Rhys.
Oh, thanks.
Good stuff, man. All right. So how did you come up with a prototyping idea? How did that land on your lap?
It started through my brother, who was an engineer, and he came to me with his first prototype, got me to produce the part, which was actually for a bit of mining equipment. And he's looking at this part that he's had printed compared to jobs that he's had done through his work with other professional 3D printers. And he goes, "Why aren't you doing this? But the quality here is as good, if not better, than what we've been receiving from this other place. Maybe look at giving this a go." And it's especially with engineers, word of mouth is everything. Your reputation is everything. So for me, I haven't had to market, I haven't had to push to these companies. They come chasing me, and that's been the best part about this.
That's so, dude, that's brilliant, man. So how did you get your first customers and your first clients?
So that was really through my brother, him seeing the prototypes or the 3D printing that I was doing, because up until that point, it was just a bit of fun. I started off getting a bit of exposure, making little Pokemon figurines, which started off as a bribe to my daughter, for me running a 3D printer 24/7 in the wall, sitting against the wall next to her room.
Hmm.
So playing around, making little toys and things, and just getting a bit of basically a portfolio behind me of what I can do with a printer and getting that experience. That was the biggest thing.
So what happened next, right? So you got your first clients through your brother. They saw the quality of these Pokemon prints that you were making for your daughter. What happened next? Did they like then hire you for these prototypes for these parts? What happened after that?
Yeah, after that, the first company started sending me some quote requests, and I would sit there, and the first one was very much, what can you do here? And when they're asking for special materials that you can't run out of a normal 3D printer, I can't compete on that front, or I couldn't back then. So I was offering them value for money. I was offering them cheap materials that would do the same job and would cut their costs down to a quarter of what they were previously paying, and still making the same level of margin, the same profit margin as what these big companies were, using cheaper equipment and far cheaper material. So them seeing that they didn't have to spend $2,000 for a prototype part this big, has that showed them value for money immediately and got them to take that chance with me. And so from there, it's really grown from them seeing what can be done from someone who's not running a $250,000 3D printer. Um, as I said before, engineers talk to each other. These companies do talk.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when you start getting a reputation of being able to produce these high quality parts, and not having that massive price tag, then yeah, word definitely gets out.
So this is super interesting because you're the first person I believe who has actually made a full-time gig out of prototyping, who's been on the show. So do you now then have your own, do you have a print farm? Because for prototyping, honestly, I think you make the one part, you show it to them, and then they are they the ones who then mass produce these, or do you produce product for them as well?
Well, for some companies, they come to me, and instead of me just producing a prototype, I'll run a production run. So yes, I do have my own print farm. We're up to 36 printers now, which does, it varies. Last week it was 38, but I've retired 2 machines.
Okay, so
Um,
I'm sorry, you said you had 6 machines?
36.
36. See, okay,
Yep,
not six, 36.
that's
That's a
right. Yeah.
whole building. All right,
And
sorry,
for
go ahead. So you have 36 machines and you do a production run for them.
Yeah, well, 2 weeks ago, I had a company come to me and say, "Look, we have a production run of these parts. Can you do it?" That one there was a few hundred parts. The job before that was 3,000 parts. So
30,000 parts?
3,000, yeah,
Oh,
3,000
3,000.
little,
Okay.
yeah, 3,000 little enclosures for lights. So yeah, it's jobs like that are fun, because being a small business owner and working from home, it's hard to find that time to switch off. So when you're running batches that take 4 hours, that starts dictating your time a little bit. So just a case of pricing.
Sure.
The
And so what machines are you using for these 36 this farm, this fleet, this
Yeah,
squadron of
I've
machines?
got a decent range of machines. So I try and cover as many bases as I can with it. So we do run a lot of the Ender 3 printers, the range of different Ender 3s that they have. Then there's really strange ones like the Kadama Trinus that might be able to see here next to me. Um, I did retire my last two A888s last week, and then I'm moving into Vorons. So with what they can do for me compared to a more open type printer, it's really opened things up in that front. And we've also got a large number of resin printers as well.
Okay. And what kind of resin printers do you have?
There's a whole range there as well. It's
Whole range there as well.
cubic photon mono, the 4K version, the Frozen Sonic Mini. There's the Creality LD series. There's
Okay.
I,
So
I
just the
skipped a
standard
few of them.
Elegoo's, the Mars, right? I
Yeah,
guess the Anycubic photons, the Creality Hallets. Did you have one of those?
yeah.
Okay, so those guys. Cool. And do you have a favorite filament that you use? Filament brand?
I do. I actually have a manufacturer because I'm here in Australia. We don't get a lot of the brands like what you guys do. Like Overture here costs us 3 times as much as it would for you guys.
No
So
kidding. $60
it,
for an Overture spool?
it's just shipping. Australia is its own little world. 3D printing here has a far higher cost to entry. It's ridiculous. So for me, I use a local manufacturer called Aurora. If they don't have what I need, I use it's another 3D printing business here in Australia called 3D Phillies, and for the resin Monocure, which is another Aussie company. So I try and support local as much as I can, and having a local manufacturer just up the road really has been a huge help.
I have a friend out there and he uses 3D Phillies, so um I heard they have good filament.
They
So
are, yeah.
what struggles did you have when you first started this entire thing? What were the kind of snags that you went through?
I think valuing your time, me looking at things and saying, okay, print time, yeah, this is what it's all based on. But when you've got a production run and you completely overlook how much time is going to be spent in actually post processing these parts and bringing them up to standard, or the amount of times you might have a small issue with the 3D model itself or the print, chasing your tail, trying to meet deadlines, that's probably been the hardest thing. So it's like anything, there's a learning curve that goes with it. And as you improve, your products do as well.
You've done really dang well, man. For you to grow, is it a year you said that you started?
5 years from the start. It's been 18 months that I've been doing this full time. So
For how many months?
18 months.
18 months. So a year and a half to go from
Yeah,
part-time driving a bus to bang, you know,
yeah.
prototyping with a production run of 3,000 to 36 machines. Kudos to you, man. That's very, very impressive. Congratulations.
No, thank
Um,
you.
so how else does the business make money? Do you have like a shop or is it strictly you double down on prototyping and all that?
So 90% of what I do is business to business. It's directly interacting with these businesses to invoice them after doing the jobs and
Mhm.
earning the money that way. I don't know what you know about Melbourne, Australia. We actually hold the record for the most lockdown city in the world when it comes to the pandemic. So for here, me starting 18 months ago, when we spent in the last year, it was over 200 days that we spent in lockdown. So that's been the hard part because businesses weren't spending.
Mm.
And so I was falling back. And that's where the resin printers came in, is making tabletop gaming models like everybody else. So on Patreon, I support you and another 13 different designers. So purchased merchant rights to a lot of these other designers of 3D models, and I was producing those to get me through the pandemic.
Interesting, man. So do you design these prototypes yourself?
Not for the ones for big business. Most of them have their engineers who develop these things. I work with these companies to refine their ideas. And I'm working on one at the moment who's never really dealt with 3D printing before. This is their first avenue into it. And so we'll sit down and we'll have a discussion and work out what the capabilities of the machines and the technology are. And they'll go away with their engineer who knows their side of the business better because I don't know anything about refrigeration or whatever industry they're from. They know their technology. I educate them about what I can do and what the machines can do. And we work together in that sense. So that's been the biggest thing is building those business relationships instead of just me designing or just them designing and neither party being really happy with what the outcome is, to be able to communicate with them and give them the product that they need.
Okay, so they give you the design
Yeah,
and you take it and you refine it and make it better.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And what software do you use?
I use Fusion 360 and Blender, and for them, most of the industry standard for a lot of the companies I'm working with is SolidWorks.
Gotcha. So I mean, all of these software, they work with this majority of the same file extensions, the STLs, the
Yeah,
OBJs, right?
yeah,
So you
yeah,
can use them in different software.
yeah. That's
Um,
correct. Yeah.
so what profit margins are you looking for to target when you target these production runs?
So I get about 80% profit.
80%.
So yeah,
Nice. Good man. That's nice and healthy.
yeah, yeah. It works out well. So, and
Yes.
that's the great thing about this. There is money to be made doing this, even with print time. As long
Huge.
as you're making time, there is more than enough money to be made.
Dude, I totally agree with a production run of 3 to 5,000 at 80%
Yeah,
margins, even at, you know, $5 a piece. Dude,
yeah,
you made $4 for one, right?
yeah. That's right.
Times three
Yeah,
to 5,000. Do the math in your head, right? Huge.
exactly. Right.
Congratulations, man. I'm kind of jealous a
No,
little bit. Um, so what else is working today in terms of marketing? Has it always been just word of mouth? What's bringing in
the
people?
best the best thing's word of mouth. I've tried the Google ads. I My website is still through Wix, and because I've been watching your podcast, the one I was watching yesterday, one of the I forget who it was you were speaking to. They were laughing about how terrible the Wix experience has been. Same issue for myself. So I've tried those ads. I've tried the Facebook ads. I haven't found anything that works as well as face to face or the word of mouth that goes between businesses.
Cool, man. So dude, that's really it for me. What's next for the company? What's on the horizon for you?
At the moment, I'm just continuing to evolve. So trying to stay ahead of that curve. I'm updating all my machines with bigger, better, more capable machines. So the big contract I've got at the moment, it's already meaning that I need another two of these Viron printers to be able to meet demand in the long run. So I'll be retiring some of the older machines I've got, putting in these bigger, more capable ones, and just continuing to try and stay ahead of the curve. That's the main thing.
I agree, man. I think bigger machines are better because you don't want to get caught with a big project and it doesn't fit on the machines that you have. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
It's better to have a small piece on a bigger machine than a big piece on a machine that it's not going to fit on. You're going to end up having to buy a machine,
yeah,
that's
that's right.
capable enough to print whatever it is that you're trying to make, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're always going to be caught short. There's always going to be that job that's 5 mil too big for the printers you've got.
Oh, just that hair five, dude, 5 mil is
Yeah,
small. Oh my gosh. That would drive me nuts. I'm still
yeah.
just sit there trying to orient it. Like, how do I make this? Um, dude,
I mean,
Rhys,
we can cut models up. You can scale them slightly, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You have to work with the equipment you've got, and that's the big thing.
yeah, so you might as well get the equipment that is capable, more than capable than having one that's, cheap. So Rhys, that's it
That's
for
right.
me, man. Let's wrap this up with your number one tip for anyone who wants to start their own 3D printing business.
Yeah. Number one tip is value your time. There's a lot of 3D printer operators out there who do things for next to nothing. Doing it that way is just a race to the bottom. It's not worth chasing. Value your time. Stick with an hourly rate that you're happy with that leaves you plenty of profit margin, puts food on your table, and stick your guns on that.
There you
That's
go.
about it.
Rhys, thank you so much, man. So I told everybody that you've stayed till the very, very end. I'll give you your own tip for your 3D printing business for today, in case you have one. If you're not, just listen anyway. And today's tip is know your numbers. My God, know your numbers. Marcus Lemonis said it. He's the host of The Profit, and he says, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And that is so true, you guys. You need to know how much it costs from the very end to make one product. That is the material cost, the packaging cost, the box, the sticker, everything that goes in this product. You have to know how much, and you have to know how much it is out the door for you. And then you would add obviously how much you price when you sell it, and then you would subtract that cost from your price, and that would then be your profit, right? A lot of people are just doing material cost. No, you have to add in packaging, you have to add in shipping if you're adding free shipping, you have to add in your paint time if you're painting it, you have to add the paint cost if you're painting it. All of that goes into the product cost. You understand? So know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Rhys, you agree?
That's definitely 100%. And on that as well, your time put into producing that packaging as well. It all costs money.
Assembly. Your time is worth something, you guys. All right. So all of that, that whole thing costs. If it takes you 10 minutes, if it takes you an hour to package something, guess what? You're charging for that hour of packaging that. All right. So that's it for us. Rhys, thank you for having me. Congratulations, dude. Holy cow, with these numbers. Super impressed. Year and a half from driving a bus to CEO. Dude, congratulations, man.
Thanks. And thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet, man. We'll see you later.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, mate.